From the locker room of the Hard Rocker football team, this is Rocker Review as we preview the 2012 Hard Rocker football season with head coach Stacy Collins. And later in the program, we'll hear from wide receiver Marshall Davis. Stacy, it's exciting for you, I'm sure. Several months of preparation for the start of camp, and here we go, and things are underway, and you have to have an excited coaching staff ready to go.
We really do. You know, I was real fortunate to bring in the staff that we brought in here to the School of Mines, and it's been exciting. Our young guys have gotten in, so we've got 95 players running around the campus. We're out in the community today doing a couple different things. We had a community service project where we spread mulch all through local Rapid City Park, and then we also got out and we rockered the town this afternoon, and we hit the whole city passing out schedule posters and selling our and pushing our season ticket package. And very exciting time, and the community was very involved, and we're excited to get the ball rolling out here this year.
Stacy, as you take over, what would you say is your biggest challenge?
You know, the biggest challenge, and I talked to our players about it last night when we had a team meeting, is really integrating the players we have in this program with the new faces we've brought in. And we're really about a 50-50 split doing that. So you're looking at 45 to 50 guys who've been in this program, been around our coaching staff for a spring, and then about 45 to 50 new guys that this will be the first time they're really around this crew. So I think that's the biggest challenge, is integrating those two groups and putting the best product on the field that we can and create competition at all positions.
You know, the question that I get asked, and every fan of every football team in America asks, is how is your quarterback position? And that was kind of an unstable position for us last season. What do we look at that? Who's going to be competing for that starting job?
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting to watch the competition at our quarterback position. During spring ball, we had one quarterback, and that's always a challenging situation. So Pat Blumen will be back. He saw some time with the 2011 squad. But we've got some new faces coming in here. You'll see a junior college transfer, a young man by the name of Mike Zanuto out of Delta College, who we're excited to see how Mike progresses throughout camp, and some freshman quarterbacks that are some trees. There's a 6'4", 6'5", two of them. Ben Baroka from North Thurston High School in Washington, and Evan Sanders from Canby High School in Oregon are two guys that when they walk through the door, they're that Drew Bledsoe prototype 6'5", 6'6" kids with a big arm. And we have two other quarterbacks in the program that are going to compete for time. Malik Shakur out of Tustin High School down in Southern California, and Anthony Mitchell out of Arizona. So it will be a highly contested battle at quarterback. We've got some very good talent, and I'm really excited to see how that plays out.
You know, the team lost its all-time rushing leader, Jamie Dale, very adept at catching the ball out of the backfield and holds the all-time rushing yardage. How are we going to replace him?
We brought some new faces in and wanted to blend them with the faces that we had here in the program. We brought in a transfer, Jamel Rover. He transferred in from Idaho State University. And Jamel actually already has his undergraduate degree. He came here to get into our IS pre-med program and bolster his resume to get into med school. So I think you'll be very excited about what Jamel brings as far as his overall athletic ability, but his maturity level also. We have a staple of running backs who've been in the program. Chris Soddy saw extensive time last year with the program. Lucas Van Laken and Michael Dahm had a tremendous spring, and we may try to get him out at receiver a little bit and use the most of his abilities. And we've got a core of young guys coming in that are very impressive. Deshaun Scott out of San Diego High School down in San Diego. DeAndre Bolden, who was a high school quarterback out of Houston, but a very talented young man. And then a guy right here in our backyard in South Dakota, Bryson Nelson out of Brookings, South Dakota, has tremendous balance, very competitive, and had a phenomenal high school career here in the state. So like our quarterback position and like this team in general, you're going to see a lot of competition these next 3 weeks, and I think people are going to be very impressed when we actually put a two deep together as we head into that North Dakota game.
And talk a little bit too about the receiving core, because the quarterback's got to have somebody to throw the ball to.
Sure. We're fortunate the receiving core that we've had some familiar faces, and one you're going to talk to a little bit later is Marshall Davis. He has a ton of catches. He caught onto our system real well in the spring, so we're excited to see how Marshall progresses throughout this season. Bernice Berber is a name you've heard. We kind of use him as a tight end, flex, wide receiver position out there. And then a couple other returners in Thomas Walters, Joey Orbendorfer, and some faces that have been around the program and are here with us in the spring. And we've brought in some new faces also. We've brought a couple big outside receivers, Xavier Matthews out of Texas also, the Fort Worth, Texas area, and a handful of other young freshmen that are going to compete for some time.
And to finish off talking about the offense, how about that O-line?
Yeah, the O-line is probably as large a returning group as we've had. So you're going to see 8 or 9 guys that have seen time here on the field. When I walked in here, it was the group that I looked at and said, okay, this looks like a Division II offensive line. So that group, the core of it, has been through our program with Coach Ackerman in the spring, and I'm excited to see how that group gels. We'll add some fresh faces to it, but that's as deep of a returning group as we have on this football team.
We have a little fly here in the locker room. Let's talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball.
We're excited to watch Coach Dodson's 3-4-3-3 scheme, and that starts with our defensive line. We got both Andrew Sr. coming back, Andrew Isom and Andrew Munson, who work at our nose position, our DN position, and then we have a couple transfer DNs that I'm excited to see on the football field. Zach Zalecki's a transfer from Portland State University, where I was at last year, so I know Zach real well. And then Jacob Phipps, who's a chemistry major that came in from Northern Arizona University. So 2 Big Sky guys that we'll be excited to watch run around on our field. And we've added a good handful of freshmen. Brady Wilkinson, Kelby Wilkinson's younger brother, who's an older player for us, is a guy that I could see that may dip into the lineup. So we're a little deeper at that position than maybe we have been in the past, and we brought in a handful of freshmen at that DT position. Paxton Miller out of Eugene, Oregon, Isaiah Griffin out of Eureka, California, and Kyle Hudson out of Arizona that I think give us a little bit more girth between that hybrid nose and DN position and add some depth to our D-line.
And in the kicking game, of course, we lost Andy Smith, All-American kicker. We do have Colton Jeldon back as our punter. What's the kicking situation as far as field goals, PATs?
Yeah, right now Colton Jeldon will be our combo guy. So you'll see Colton punt for us, which he did a tremendous job last year when I was able to watch tape. But he had a really good spring. He hit a long field goal in our alumni game. It was in that very heavy wind. He's done a great job with the work we've put forward with him, at both field goal kicking and his kickoff. So I'm excited about that. We brought in Jason Cox, who's a freshman out of Arizona that'll do some good things. And Pat Berkey's done a phenomenal job of stepping into the long snapper role. So I'm excited to watch him progress throughout camp.
Well, there's a synopsis from the head coach. That's Stacy Collins. We're going to return with Stacy. We're going to take a deeper look at that pistol offense for you when we return to Rocker Review. We're going to take an inside look at the pistol offense here with head coach Stacy Collins. And first of all, Stacy, this is the basic formation out of the pistol. Talk a little bit about the pistol and how it was developed.
Yeah, the pistol offense was developed at the University of Nevada, Reno. Chris Halt's the head coach there, and there's a long story on where the formation started, and it really started with a quarterback not being athletic enough to hand the ball off on the outside zone. So that developed into what ended up being a very athletic quarterback position for the University of Nevada, Reno. But what the University of Nevada, Reno did is they walked their quarterback back to 4 yards. So instead of your regular shotgun formation, which is deeper than that, they kind of split the difference between being under center and going to a true shotgun. So that 4-yard depth allowed them to be able to hand off for the outside zone play, still handle the inside zone play, and then what's become a real popular play in college football over the last few years is keep the ball in the zone read right there. The other element of the pistol offense is to have the back 3 yards directly behind the quarterback. And the advantage of that is twofold. Number one, it allows some very, very clean inside-outside run tracks for that running back. And the second phase is it doesn't tip the hand to the offense's pass pro protection. Anytime a back is offset to one side or the other, defensively you can scheme to try to attack that back. When the back goes directly behind the quarterback, now it limits the ability to understand where that back's going to go in pass protection.
So those are the keys that a defense would have to adjust or try to defend.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the hardest part, do you think, in the transition to this offense from what we've run in the past? What will be the toughest areas for players to adapt to?
Really, it's our run timing, because it is a different alignment than these guys are going to be used to, whether it's a high school, the offensive system that the former staff ran before. It's really the run timing and the track of the quarterback and the running back. So our run timing and exchange, and you've seen it a lot in the spring, it'll take some work with that. The second phase to that is the quarterback center exchange. You are snapping the ball, it's not a direct snap. That takes a little bit of time. So you look right down the vertex of that formation, and those are the three areas, the three players, the center, the quarterback, and the running back, that it probably takes the most work for.
Do you ever run this with an empty backfield?
Oh, absolutely. And the nice thing about the pistol is it really gives us a lot of variety. We can run all the formations we want. One back, two back, empty. and still keep all our concepts the same, really, in our passing game. But what it does is allows our run game to be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more consistent with what we're looking for, and our pass protection now benefits from not tipping our hand.
To your knowledge, the teams we play this year, will we see any team that runs the pistol offense against us?
Yeah, we will. You know, I know Valley City State runs a good chunk of the pistol. There'll be a hand. I know North Dakota's in a little bit of some pistol alignment on some of the tape that I've seen. It's very popular for those reasons. I know what people are doing out of the pistol is quite a bit different. The thing we will always do here offensively, and one of the reasons I hired Coach Tinker, is because he will work on matchups. So our pistol is really going to show our strengths. If we can play pitch and catch with the outside guys, we may be more of a run-oriented pistol offense. If we're able to run the ball more consistent or get into 1, 2, 3 tight end packages or a 2-back package, we're able to do that. And that flexibility within the pistol offense is key, because in college football, players change. And we want to make sure that we're doing the best job we can of getting our best football players the football.
As Stacy says, it's Pistol 101. That's your first class in the pistol offense here for 2012. Thanks to Stacy Collins. We'll return with Marshall Davis, junior wide receiver for the Hard Rockers, in just a moment. Marshall Davis, junior wide receiver for the Hard Rockers, has joined us here. And Marshall, give us a little background on yourself, where you're from, what you're majoring in, and any other information you'd like to share with us.
Well, I'm from a suburb of Kansas City called Olathe, and I came up here 3 years ago to study environmental engineering. I've really had a good time here. Played under Coach Kratzer, and now I'm very excited with the new coaching staff that they brought in, and I'm excited for this season.
So what did you do in the off season? You went home last summer, and I'm sure you worked.
Right. I had the privilege of working as an intern for the city of Olathe back home, where I spent a lot of time working with engineers, a few different departments, so I got a greater look at exactly what goes on with the city of Olathe and what I might want to do after school, which was really good. I also got to spend a lot of time with my family and friends, which I haven't done in a while, so it was good being back.
What was the process that brought you here to the School of Mines? Coach Kratzer recruited you. Why did you choose the School of Mines?
I chose the School of Mines, to be honest with you, because on my recruiting trip I felt really at home when I got here. I saw the Black Hills and I fell in love with them from day one. I also liked the sense of community or friendship between the team. Everybody seems to get along great. They have respect for the teachers and the coaches that they play for. And everybody it's like a family here, and you can feel really comfortable. And being 13 hours from home, you need that, and I really have enjoyed that since I've been here.
You know, you had a great season last year. You have great hands. Once the ball touches those hands, it never seems to hit the turf. What is going to be the biggest change, do you think, for the returning players coming back with Coach Collins now?
Coach Collins brings a big sense of energy and a sense of hard work that a lot of the players weren't really used to with Coach Kratzer, but during spring ball and during the few weeks that we've had here, we've really started to realize what's going on and what he's trying to do with the program, and everybody's really starting to mesh and get it going. And I feel like tomorrow when we're going to practice, it's really going to go well, and everybody's really going to dig in and put forth a great amount of effort, which is what we need to turn things around.
And how about the pistol offense? We just talked with Coach Collins about that. What kind of adjustments will you have to make to be successful in that offense?
Well, with the pistol, the quarterback last year was in a regular shotgun, and with the pistol, he's going to be closer to the center. So we're looking at a great amount of plays that are going to be a lot quicker. You're looking at the quick slants, the quick outs. So you got to get your head around and make sure that you're ready for that ball when it's coming, because they'll fire it in there pretty fast.
As a receiver, what makes a good receiver, Marshall? I mentioned your hands, but what do you think are some of the attributes you possess that have made you a real good receiver for the Hard Rockers?
What some people don't really realize is the small things that go into being a receiver. Running the right routes, breaking it at the perfect yardage where the play is designed, and the blocking, the down the field blocking for your running back and maybe a receiver that had caught one underneath you. That's really what makes a good receiver. If he could do those things and catch the ball when it's needed. That's really what a good receiver can do, and what he needs to do here with this offense.
When you look at the schedule, first time ever we played 11 games. We have a lot of new teams on the schedule this season. Some very prolific D2 programs, including one from your home state, Fort Hays State, that has had a great tradition. What do you think the team's attitude is, or the team's expectations? Do you set any personal goals? I mean, do you think the team will set any goals?
I think the team will set a few goals. I'm not sure right now what they'll be, but personally, I strive to do everything that I can do to make our offense work and mesh and get down the field as fast as possible and as successful as possible. I'm sure Coach Hyman, our wide receivers coach, who I've been very fond of and spent a lot of time with, he'll have a few goals, maybe no drops in a game, which I'm sure he'll have, and no missed blocks, and just small things like that that'll keep us small game and thinking about those little things that the receivers need to do. But as a team, right now, I don't think we have any personal goals besides just do the best that we can and go out there and get as many W's as we can.
And finally, of course, being a receiver, you actually will work more with Zach Tinker, the offensive coordinator, maybe than actually the head coach. What's your early take on Zach, and what do you think his expectations are? Zach
is a very good person, and people have really grown to respect him and buy into his new offense here. He's got a lot of things that nobody's heard of previous with Coach Kratzer and the previous offensive coordinator, and I really like what he's doing and the energy that he brings, and the offense is just a lot smarter than it has been in the past, and I think everybody will see that once we go to practice and have the scrimmages.
Well, thank you to Marshall Davis, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of exciting catches from Marshall this season during the course of the season, which opens up on August the 30th up in Grand Forks, North Dakota, against the University of North Dakota. And I don't really know what to call them as their nickname, Marshall, but they're the North Dakota Somethings, and we'll have that be our opening game. We'll return. We're going to have some closing comments here on Rocker Review in just a moment. I want to thank head coach Stacy Collins and Marshall Davis from the Hard Rocker football team for being our guests today. We want to remind you about the great season ticket package available for Hard Rocker football this season. You can get 6 flex tickets. What is a flex season ticket? Well, you can use those tickets in any combination you want. There's 6 tickets. You can use 3 of them for one game, maybe 2 for another, or you can use each ticket for each home game. So it's $42 for a flex ticket. Just call the School of Mines Athletic Department for more information. And don't forget, you can follow the Hard Rockers at the Hard Rocker website. It's www.gorockers.com. And we'll have coaches' luncheons coming up each Monday this season during the football, basketball seasons in the Christensen Hall of Fame. And you can follow Hard Rocker football on the internet with the America One network, broadcasting the Hard Rocker games at home. And all the games are streamed on the Hills 97.5, and Hills 97.5 FM is our flagship station for Hard Rocker football. That's it for this edition of Rocker Review. Join us next time here on Black Hills Television, Channel 18.